All right, welcome to our classrooms that are watching from the outside right now. We are currently waiting on, we're supposed to have 4 classrooms in here with us, and I know some of them were actually in Florida, but because of that Hurricane Matthew, some classes had to bail on us, which is okay. Hopefully they are staying safe. And so we're gonna go ahead and get started for our classrooms that are here on time. And so I'm gonna go ahead and go ahead and start because I know it takes a little delay. Start sending in your questions for Michelle from South Africa, and we're gonna meet her in just 1 second. But without further ado, we're gonna go ahead and start our show. So today's show is Meet a Local, and our local star guest is Michelle from South Africa. And today's show is brought to you by Learn Around the World, bringing you virtual field trips and guest speakers just like today's from all over our giant blue planets. Today is an interactive show, so that means if you're watching from the outside, please send in your questions and or comments to #LearnATW. Please use the hashtag. I will not be tracking my Twitter handle. So if you follow me on Twitter, send it to the hashtag. Later in the show, we're gonna play a geo quiz and with some facts about Michelle and South Africa. She has agreed to send your classroom this is not the correct ID, I'll give it out later. She has agreed to send your classroom a postcard from South Africa. So again, don't use, this is the incorrect ID. We'll give it again later. Remember, this is Learn Around the World. So that means location matters. And where are we going today? We are headed all the way over to the country of South Africa, which if you're not aware is right at the bottom of the continent of Africa. And specifically, Michelle is in Cape Town. So she's going to tell us more about her city and one of the famous natural wonders there, which is Table Mountain. But I want to give you guys an idea of how big Table Mountain is right up next to Cape Town. So there we go. And without further ado, we're going to go ahead and virtually travel over to South Africa today. And let's meet Michelle. So hi, Michelle. How's it going?
Hi, guys. Very well, and you?
All right. So we're going to learn all about Michelle, and she's going to introduce herself in 1 second. But we are going to introduce our classrooms that are joining us today. And I'm going to go over to Mrs. Wilkins' class and let them introduce themselves in 1 second. But we do have Mrs. Church's classroom. They are watching from Indianapolis, and they are, let's see, a 2nd grade classroom. So welcome to the show, guys. Mrs. Wilkins' class is a 7th grade classroom from Lowell, Massachusetts in the USA. Welcome to the show, guys. All right.
Hi.
So I hope you guys are ready to meet Michelle. And Michelle, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. Okay. So my name is Michelle Galanos. I come from Cape Town, South Africa. I don't know if you read my bio. I met Brandon in South Korea. We were English teachers, which was a lot of fun. English is actually my 2nd language, so I'm very proud of that. And I'm very excited to meet you all and answer all of your questions.
All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to start off the show because Michelle has put together some pictures to show us different places around Cape Town and South Africa, as well as to show us some different things about food in different categories. We're going to start by looking at some of the places that she sent to us, and then we're going to open it up for all the questions that you guys have about South Africa. So I'm going to go ahead and bring up the pictures she sent us, and she's going to talk us through them. And all right, so let's see some of the places. Where is this, Michelle?
That is about 300 kilometers from where I live. It's the highest bungee jump in the world. So I have not done it myself. About 1 kilometer from there, there's a smaller one as well. It's called Blokra. I've done the smaller one. The smaller one is inactive now because it's not safe anymore. So I'm not sure if I'm going to try the bigger one.
All right, so this is the highest bungee jump in the world. Would you guys jump off of here on a bungee cord, Mrs. Wilkins' class? So we have a lot of no's, a lot of yeses. If you're watching from the outside, send it in. Let us know. Would you jump off the highest bungee jump in the world in South Africa? How cool is that? All right, where's this at, Michelle?
That is just below Johannesburg. I've been there as well. It is a cave. It was found in the late 1800s, if I'm correct, by a guy who just started climbing into it. It starts off really small, and then it goes down into this big cave that you can see over there. It's amazing to see. You can also go and do some of the smaller parts. You can go climb through. They've got a thing that they call the chimney, and you're on your stomach, climbing through it, and you fall down. So it's very nice and beautiful, and you must come see it.
All right. And what is it? You said this was a gold mine, yeah?
It's a gold mine. We've got many of them. They're not pretty, but we are one of the biggest distributors of gold in the world. I think we distribute like 60% of all the gold in the world. So we've got a lot of them, not in the main towns. You don't see them as often. You kind of have to drive quite far to get to them.
Wow. So if you guys didn't hear that, 60% roughly of the world's gold comes from South Africa. All right. Where is this place?
That's in a town called Kimberley. It's the Kimberley Hole, also known as the Big Hole. It is the biggest hand dug hole in the world. So this was also a mine, but it's a very old mine where they still used to use their hands to dig the holes. Well, with their hands, not equipment.
Wow, this was all done by hand. That's amazing.
Yes.
All right.
A dog fell in there once, but we saved it.
And you said this was a high school. Is this your high school or one near your home?
No, that is my high school. I did grade 8 till grade 12, which would be freshman year till, what's the last year of school that you guys have?
Senior year.
Senior year, yes. So it would be from the age of 14 till 18, I went there.
From 18? Okay. And your high
Until
school,
18.
how many grade levels or year levels are in your high school, did you say?
We have 5.
5? Okay.
In high school, yes.
All right. And where is this location?
That is Cape Town. That is our harbor, and that mountain in the back is Table Mountain. I've climbed that one myself quite a few times.
All right. So maybe you guys, if you're watching this, you can kind of see right here where it gets the name Table Mountain. All right. And is this in the countryside?
Yes, that was me, myself and my fiance went looking at wedding venues. So most of South Africa would have your town area, and then literally right next to the town, you've got the kind of rural areas, and it looks like that. We've got a lot of mountains, but it's open and flat.
And is this a traffic jam?
Yes, that was on my way to work one morning about 2 weeks ago.
Is that pretty common near Cape Town?
That's pretty common. That's every morning on your way to work, where you drive. I think I work 20 kilometers. I don't know what that is in miles, away from my work. I live 20 kilometers away from my work, and I drive an hour to work each day. So it takes a while.
Right. And how big is Cape Town? Do you know the population?
I think Cape Town has, I know South Africa has about 50 million people, which, fun fact, is the same as South Korea, and South Korea can fit in South Africa like 7 times. I'm not 100% sure about the population of Cape Town itself.
All right. And Okay, so that's a good introduction for you guys. And just so if you're not used to kilometers, so it's about 20 kilometers is about 12.4 miles. All right, so we're going to open it up. If you have participated in Geo Show before, our Meet a Local series is a little different. It's mostly Q&A. So we really, if you're watching from the outside, just go ahead and start sending in all the questions you have about South Africa, and we're going to try to get to all of them. So we're going to start with our own show host classroom with Mrs. Wilkins' class. And can you go ahead and whoever has the first question, do you want to look right into the camera and ask it real loud for us?
Matthew, go right up to the camera. Go. Okay, who wants to ask a question? Anybody want to ask a question? No? Can I ask a question?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, I'll start, okay? What do teenagers do for fun in South Africa?
Hi, Miss Wilkinson class. Hi. Well, teenagers, I haven't been a teenager myself for very long, but teenagers nowadays are mostly on their phones, which you shouldn't be doing. So they're playing games on their phones most of the time, and we've got a very big, in Cape Town itself, we've got a very big population of children that like to do water sports, which would be anything from surfing to wakeboarding or skiing, and so that's also a big thing in Cape Town itself.
All right, and we have a very similar question coming from Mrs. Bennett's classroom. They're watching from the outside, and they want to know, what do you do for fun when you're a child? So what are some of the younger kids doing? If you have any little cousins or nephews or anything, what do younger kids do for fun?
Well, almost every household in South Africa has a lot of animals. No, we do not have lions, but we do have a lot of animals. We spend a lot of our time with animals as well. I remember when I was a child, we would go to dog parks, for example, and just spend the whole day there in the park. And similarly, we would also be on the beach a lot. So I think they still do the same.
All right, and Mrs. Church's second grade classroom wants to know, earlier you said that English is your second language. What is your first language?
My first language is Afrikaans, which is a South African native language. And it sounds very rough, I've heard from Brandon.
All right, and can you, for example, can you just say, I am from Cape Town in Afrikaans? How would you say that?
Sure. Ek kom van Kaapstad.
All right, did you guys catch that over in Mass? All right, do you guys have do you have a question in Mrs. Wilkins' class?
What is the usual climate in South Africa?
All right, did you catch that, Michelle?
Yes, I did. Okay, so we have all 4 seasons, quite hectic, not as hectic as a lot of countries, but we've got summer would be anything between, okay, now it's going to be Fahrenheit. I don't know Fahrenheit. We've got Celsius. Sorry. So in a summer would be anything between 25 degrees Celsius to 40 degrees Celsius. And winter would go down to 0 degrees Celsius to 10. So we don't get snow though, which is weird. We don't have snow a lot. We do only have snow on our mountain. So I would sit at home and I can see there's snow on the mountain, but it's never on my grass or on my car. So.
All right. So if you guys called that, then 0 degrees Celsius, if you guys know, or is going to be around 32 degrees Fahrenheit. So that's freezing. And 25 degrees Celsius is around 77 degrees Fahrenheit. And what do you say your max? What's the max temperature? I'm sorry, I didn't catch it.
In midsummer, it would be 35 degrees Celsius to 40 degrees Celsius.
Okay, so that's about 95 degrees Fahrenheit. Is 35 to about 104 degrees Fahrenheit. All right, so it can get quite hot, or it can also get down to freezing. All right, great questions, guys. And again, if you're watching from the outside, keep sending in your questions. And Mrs. Bennett's classroom wants to know, Sorry, it's not a question. They said we would jump off of that bungee jump. All right, so that was a very definite yes. We would jump off of it.
Well done, guys.
All right. So a lot of people often ask, and we had a couple of pre-submitted questions, and one of those was about food. So I know you sent us some pictures about food. So let's go ahead and show those, and maybe that will spark some more questions from our own show guest as well. All right. So what are we looking at here, Michelle?
Oh, sorry, I almost took a drink. That is what we call chops. But okay, so the meat is chops, which I'm not sure what you call. Yes, that is chops. I'm not sure what you call it in English at all. Beneath the meat, you will see we make barbecues with wood. We do not barbecue with coals or briquettes. We don't barbecue with briquettes. We actually start a fire with wood until we get coals from the wood, and then we would barbecue on the wood, the coal from the wood.
Okay. And so not necessarily the cut, but what kind of animal is it? Not lamb or?
I think that's lamb. That looks like lamb.
Okay.
A scarp chop.
All right. And what about here?
That's seafood. So we've got the circles are calamari, and we've got crayfish, and we've got prawns, and mussels on the side.
And do you eat a lot of raw seafood or mostly fried, or is there just depends on the person?
It depends on the person. Most of the people I know would not eat it raw, only sushi. But the seafood's generally cooked or fried. Calamari we like to fry.
All right. And what about this big hunk of food?
That is how our normal steak looks. We have big pieces of meat, very big pieces of meat. And I've also heard that we are very privileged by the price we get them for from some of my foreign friends who have come visited us before. And behind is potato fries.
So does South Africa produce a lot of beef? Do you guys have a lot of cattle?
We do have a lot of cattle, but I've heard we get them from overseas. We get our meat from overseas, which is kind of strange. We export most of our own meat and import meat for ourselves.
All right. And what is this? This looks weird.
Okay, so that's a mpani worm. It's an actual worm that South Africans eat. Not all South Africans. If you're a bit skittish, you won't really eat that worm. It's very crunchy, but it's very high in protein, so it's really, really healthy for you. I've eaten it quite a few times. I would not say it's my preferred meal, but a lot of people eat it around me. It's not that strange.
What do you guys over Mrs. Wilkins' class? Would you eat these worms? No, yeah. Some no, some yes. All right. Okay. All right. So our classrooms watching from the outside, is it Mrs. Church's classroom or Mrs. Bennett's classroom? Let us know. Would you try those worms? What about the time? What time is it over there right now, Michelle?
It is 20 minutes past 7 in the evening.
All right. And so she is speaking with us from the future. So we haven't gotten to there yet. All right. So Mrs. Church classroom says only 3 of us would try them. So not everyone, but there's a couple of brave souls that want to try the worms. All right. Let's go back.
It doesn't taste bad.
All right. Over in Mrs. Wilkins' class, do you guys have any questions about food or possibly school? What do you guys want to know? I see a lot more hands now.
Can you see me?
Yes,
Yeah.
I can.
Okay, so where do you guys get the food again? Like how do you like this steak and stuff? Like
So-
you guys-
So some of our steak we do get from our own farmers, but I have read that we import most of our meat and we export most of our own meat to other countries.
All right. Great questions. And I saw a few hands. So if you have another question, go ahead and send the next person up.
Megan, do you guys have tacos and like Chinese food?
We do have tacos. We don't have a lot of restaurants, and I know you guys have the taco stands and all of that. We do not have that. We have to buy the taco and then make it at home for ourselves. And Chinese food, we also have a lot of Chinese people that live here that have Chinese restaurants. I've never seen a South African that owns a Chinese restaurant. So.
All right. And we had some questions coming in from Mrs. Bennett's classroom. They want to know what kind of movies or TV shows do you watch? So is there anything that we would know in the US?
We watch all your shows. All of them come from America. My latest favorite is Game of Thrones, and I used to love Breaking Bad and Nemo, which is a movie, not a series, obviously. And we even watch Ellen DeGeneres and Oprah and everything. We get it live. We've got on our channels. We've got an American channel that says live from the US in 24 hours. So we get everything from you guys. Sorry.
And they also want to know, what do you like to do at home in your free time? So what do you like to do for fun?
I myself, in my free time at home, I like to do gardening and spend time with my fiance, family, friends, and my dogs. I'm a very big animal lover, so I've got a few pets myself. And in my free time away from home, I really enjoy hiking. As you can see, we've got a lot of mountains, so there's always space to go for hiking. And I also like wakeboarding a lot.
Ooh, wakeboarding. Any of you guys ever been wakeboarding over in Mrs. Wilkins' classroom? No? Maybe a few people. All right. Do you guys have another question for Michelle?
My question was about the food.
About
The food. Have you ever tasted any of it? And if so, which one is your favorite?
the food on the pictures that I've shown you.
Yeah. Have you ever tasted any of them? And if so, which one is your favorite?
So what's your
sorry?
favorite foods? Which
On the
Yeah.
Yeah, on the pictures, my favorite food would be the steak, the big piece of meat. I eat that about 3 times a week at least. And secondary to that would be seafood. I love seafood.
All right. In Mrs. Church's classroom, they want to know, can you tell us a little bit about the animals in South Africa, specifically the wild animals?
Okay, so just for interest's sake, when I taught English with Brandon in South Korea, a lot of children over there came to me and asked me, but do you have a lion as a pet? And I told them no. I've heard that a lot of people believe or think that we have wild animals as pets. I'm sorry to disappoint, that is not the truth. We do have a lot of wild animals quite close to us because we've got a lot of wild farms, which is 1,000 hectares and bigger. It's absolutely huge. So the big 5, I don't know if you guys have heard about the big 5. Those are the 5 biggest wild hunt animals. So that will include the lion, buffalo, elephant, can't even remember, cheetah, Can't remember. I can't remember the fourth one, fifth one. I have seen all of them. You can visit them any time of the day. There, one back. There we go. The rhino. How can I forget the rhino? So that's a big five. It's the biggest game hunting. So the game hunters would pay a lot of money to come hunt them in South Africa. I have seen all of them. Very close up, quite, if I can guess, it would be like 20 meters away.
Uh-huh.
I've also touched lions, not a big one, only the cubs. They are extremely heavy, because they come sit on your lap. And they are extremely strong. I had two of the cubs playing behind me while I had one sitting on my lap. And it kind of knocked me. And I thought my wind was out because I couldn't breathe. And the lion just went on. They are extremely strong. Elephants, I've also touched. Cheetah, not yet. Rhino, I want to. Buffalo, not yet. So, yes. And normal house animals would be anything from a dog to a duck to a cat to... we have people that have monkeys for pets. Yeah, and fish, koi fish, big fish for pets.
Are any of the big five, so South Africa is famous for the big five, so these here, are any of them endangered in South Africa, or are they doing well? Population.
No, the rhino is endangered. We already lost the whiteback rhino in 2013. The last one was poached. We've got a lot of it's not farms, it's rehabilitations for rhinos where they actually try and there my English goes.
Like a wildlife preserve, so they're helping.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. So they're helping to get some more babies and prevent extinction of all of the different types of rhinos.
Okay.
It's illegal. It's illegal to kill them, but people still do.
Right. And so while I have it here, what are some of these other pictures we're looking at?
That is the cradle of humankind. So there's an area also just below Johannesburg, which is at the top of South Africa, if I can explain it like that. I'm down here. That's at the top. It's not far away. You fly there in 2 hours, but so that's known as the cradle of humankind. They found some of the earliest human known fossils from the way we evolutionized, because we kind of started as apes and then we came up all the way and got our straight backs. So some of the first fossils were found in that area. And if you go into that grass building, they are actually in there. And they make statues so you can see how the people had to look. They put on, obviously, they take this skeletons and put faces on and everything, so you can see how we looked way back when as well. And also from weapons and housing and everything that they found from that time, they would make an illustration of what they assume those people lived like.
All right. So some of the earliest fossils from the human species have been found in South Africa. That's really cool. What about this one?
That is the first heart transplant that was done in South Africa by Dr. Christian Barnard. So that is him standing on the right-hand corner, and that is his patient. Sadly, his heart transplant was successful, but he died of pneumonia. I think it was the patient died of pneumonia 17 days later.
But this was the first heart transplant in the world?
Yes, that's correct.
Oh, that's really cool. All right, so let's see if we have any more questions. And over in Ms. Wilkins' class, do you guys have any questions over there?
What is the most dangerous animal in South Africa?
I would say in water, it would probably be the great white shark. We've got many of them. And on land, hippopotamus. because a hippopotamus can kill a crocodile can kill a person. So that's how I usually remember it.
All right. And if you got another question, go ahead and send them up to the camera. I did want to show everyone real quick what the money in South Africa looks like. So she sent us a couple of notes, and this is a 50. What do you call your money?
Rand. 50 rand.
And how
Yes,
much?
rand.
How much in U.S. money is rand?
I think it's $1 is equal to 13 rand. So 15 rand would be $4, I think. Ish.
Okay. And yeah, so around $3.50 currently is what this is. And for those, maybe some of our younger kids don't know who that is, but who is that on the notes here?
That is Mr. Nelson Mandela.
All right. Raise your hand. Have you guys ever heard of Nelson Mandela, Mrs. Wilkins' class?
No. Yes.
All right. So most people. And we can see one of the big five there on the back. So we see the lion. And the big five is it on all the money? Like,
it's on all the notes. Yes.
Right.
So
Okay.
we go from 10 rand, 20 rand, 50 rand, 100 rand, and a 200 rand. We've got the big five on the one side of each and Nelson Mandela on the other side.
All right. And what are your coins? Is there anything?
Yes, most of our coins, all of our coins have our national badge,
Symbol.
symbol. I can't my English is just going away. Okay, so all of our coins have our national symbol on the back, which would be that one with a bird on the 2000. Yes, that would be one as well. And then on the other side, we have anything from our wild animals to our national flower to heritage buildings on.
All right. And so you can see there, guys, if you wanted to know, RAND, so the rand. So they spell it there. And well, this is great. So I know a lot of people are probably curious because you keep tripping up sometimes, but people do realize that English is not Michelle's first language. So I think she's doing a fantastic job. But they do speak a lot of languages. How many languages do you speak in South Africa again?
We have 11 official languages.
11 official languages. So that means even in English, you guys have some English slang, and she sent us some. So here we're going to play a little game. So our classroom that's on the on camera with us, so Mrs. Wilkins' class. First of all, okay, what does this say? Robot. And what do you guys think this is slang for in South Africa? Can you guys take a guess?
Organize. Check. Nah.
Opposite. What do you think would be?
Stop. Genius.
So we have a few different ones. Let's see what it's used for. So traffic lights. All right, so stoplights, they call robots. That's kind of interesting. All right, what about the next one? How about you guys try to say this in Mrs. Wilkins' class? Hoagie. Hoagie. All right, what do you guys think it means?
No idea.
No idea? Okay, how about Miss Michelle? How would you say this?
A G in South Africa is regularly gets pronounced as a sound. So this would be puchi.
Puchi. And what does it mean?
It's a scooter.
All right, so it means scooter. Okay. All right. See if you guys let's see if we can get one volunteer. Can someone try to say this in Mrs. Wilkins' class?
Very close, very close.
Can you see me? You can see me, right?
Yeah.
Yes, I can.
I think it's Sheila time.
Very close, very close.
How do you
The
say it?
I's just pronounced a bit differently. So it's Chila time.
And
Chila time.
what does that mean?
Chila in Xhosa, which is one of our official black languages, means go. So it means Chila time, it means it's time to go. So when we go home from school, we would say it's Chila time, and we'd leave.
All right. What about this one?
Okay, remember what I said about the G. There we go. There we go.
All right.
Perfect.
And what does that mean? Caveman. Okay, let's ask Miss Michelle. What does it actually mean in South Africa?
It's when something bad happens, or when you do not agree with anything, or when someone says something to you that you do not agree with, you just go, "Ach man," like it's kind of like whatever. "Ach man, I'm just gonna go this way." Or "Ach man, don't say that."
Oh, come on. That's cool.
Yeah.
All right. So now let's learn some Afrikaans. So this is the your first language. So let's try it like this. First, the meaning is below the Afrikaans word. So let's have you say the words, and then we'll try to learn it. So how do you say this word?
Exactly like English. Hello.
Hello. Well, you guys can speak Afrikaans now in Mrs. Wilkins' class. Hello. All right. Let's try the next one. All right. So let's get Miss Michelle. So how do you say this word?
Hoe gaan dit?
Okay, do that one more
Hoe
time.
gaan dit? Oh, sorry. Hoe gaan dit?
All right, and that's how are you?
Very nice.
All right. And ooh, what about this one?
Someone is saying it correct. Someone is saying it correct.
Donkey.
Yes, yes, yes. Donkey.
The donkey?
Yes, like donkey, but with an A. Donkey.
Ah, donkey.
Ah, there we go.
No, I'm not trying to say it. I'm saying thank you, donkey.
Pleasure.
All right. And oh, what about this one? How about this? Let's get one volunteer, one brave soul to see if they can pronounce this correctly.
Stand up and say
I'm going to give you 99% for that.
Ooh, good job. How about,
Lekker. Should I say it?
yeah, say it.
Lekker dag verder. So the only difference is the R in Afrikaans you kind of roll. You have to say rr. 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 Yes. So lekker dag verder.
Oh, that's cool. So you roll the R's just like in Spanish. All right. So great job, everyone there. So everyone say thank you. You remember how to say thank you? Say thank you to Miss Michelle for teaching us that. Donkey.
Dis 'n plesier.
All right. So
You guys
we
are
have,
too cute.
okay, we have a couple more questions coming in from the outside, and then we'll wrap up by playing our quiz. So first of all, Mrs. Bennett's classroom wants to know, what kind of symbols do you have in Africa? What kind of symbols? So maybe, I don't know, maybe I guess what you showed us on the money, or
Oh, our national symbol, like that.
yeah, I guess was there anything special about the bird?
No, it's just an eagle.
Just an eagle. All right. They also want to know what subjects do you learn in school?
In primary school, which would be grade 1 until grade 7, that's age 5 or 6 till 13, you would have subjects that you have to have. So you'd have 2 languages, which would be, mine was Afrikaans and English, math, geography, art, ALWE, which is life orientation, science, music. I think that's all of them that you have to have. You have to have those subjects up until the age of 13. Then you go to high school from the age of 13 to 14, and then you can start choosing your subjects. So then you only choose your 6 main subjects. So I had biology and math and accounting, Afrikaans and English. What's the one am I missing? I think, did I say 5 or 6?
Five.
Was it 5? I can't remember. The other one obviously wasn't that important.
I'm sure they're all important. So what about your school day, your typical school day in South Africa? What time, let's say, see Mrs. Wilkins' class is in 7th grade. So around 7th grade or early high school, when did you go to school? So what time did you start and what time did you get out of school?
Our school would start at 7:45 in the morning, and we would have 50 minutes of reserve class, that we call it. It's just the class getting together to see if you're there. They just take register of who's there, and you've got a register class that you have to be at every morning. And then from there on, at 8, your classes will start. We would have 2 classes, and then the first break. Then we'd have 3 classes, another break, and another 2 classes, and we would end about at 2 p.m. where we would do sports afterwards until 5. So not everybody had to do sports. It's optional, but my school would go from 2 until 2. I'd actually have classes, and then after that, I'll do sports until 5.
All right. Well, thank you there. And we are going to have time to answer some more questions after, but I do want to go ahead and bring up our in-show quiz. So I know Mrs. Bennett's classroom, they are saying they have to run. So have a great day to you guys. The rest of
Bye, guys.
The rest of you, if you'll go to kahoot.it, again, that's the URL, kahoot.it. Our PIN is 945714. Again, that's 945714. And we're going to give you about a minute or so to get logged in. And I'll just leave it up on the screen so everyone can see the ID. Let's see. Michelle, what would be a typical thing to do after school in South Africa? For instance, did you have a lot of homework where if you went to sports, would you be doing homework on a weeknight? Would you go over to your friend's house? Would you talk on the phone? What did you do when you were in high school after your school day was over?
When my school day was over, if I didn't have any sports after school, I would make myself a big lunch. And then we've got the pugi. We used to have puggies, which is a scooter that I told you guys earlier about. We would drive around to each other's houses. Every off day that we didn't have sport, we would go to a different friend's house. And then we'd play games the whole day. We didn't have all the fancy apps you guys have today, so we didn't play as much on phones. We played PlayStation a lot and Xbox a lot.
All right. So we got I'm going to give you about 10 more seconds to get signed in if you're not already, while I turn on that groovy Kahoot music. All right. We're going to start in about 5 seconds. All right. Before we start, let me make sure. Can you guys see the Kahoot screen over there, Mrs. Wilkins' class? All right, you guys see it. All right, that's good. We're starting in 3, 2, 1. Good luck, everyone. All right, we have 4 questions in our quiz today. Question 1, how many official languages does South Africa have? Is it 1, 5, 11, or 15? All right, it is 11. 11. Great listening, most of you. All right, so we have Danny Boy is in the lead with 930 points. Hopefully, he'll hold on to it. We'll see. Where was the first heart transplant performed? The USA, South Africa, South Korea, or Russia? All right, it was performed in South Africa. Danny Boy still winning with 1,828 points, followed by, hey, it's Frazier and Megan and Jessica. Tag team coming up from behind. So what is Michelle's favorite type of food? You may have gotten this earlier, maybe not. Is it fruit, meat, or vegetables? Fruit, meat, or vegetables? All right, meat. She likes steaks. Oh, Danny Boy is still on top of it. Great job. Last question, guys. So, what are Michelle's favorite hobbies? Is it wakeboarding, traveling, hiking, or all of the above? You may just have to guess on this one. All right, it's all of the above. She loves wakeboarding, traveling, and hiking. Oh, Danny Boy. All right, so great job, everyone. If you are the teacher of Danny Boy, make sure you send me via email your school address, because Michelle has volunteered to write Danny Boy a postcard from South Africa. How cool is that? So,
And I'll send him a coin.
I'm Danny Boy.
and a coin. So Danny Boy, you're gonna get a postcard and a rand. Is that correct? A piece
A
of rand.
rand, yes.
All right. So a coin from Michelle in South Africa. That's awesome.
Well done, Danny Boy.
All right. So we do have a little bit of time left, and so we can take a few more questions. So do you guys have any questions over in Mrs. Wilkins' class?
Hi.
Hi.
This is actually a food question. Are there any more insects that you eat down here?
Yes, a lot of the people that live in the rural areas do eat any insect that they can fry. I myself do not. I've only eaten piney worms. That's the closest thing I get to eating an insect.
All right. Okay, do we have any? Oh, we got another one coming up.
Hi.
Hi.
If you could have any exotic pet, what would it be?
That's a difficult one. Probably a lion. Just because everyone thinks we've got them, I'll probably just get a lion.
I thought I saw a lion walking behind you earlier. I don't know.
That's my dog. They're quite big though. They're bigger than me. They weigh 85 kilograms.
All right. 80. That's a lot.
It's a big dog.
So a kilogram is over 2 pounds, guys. So that's over 100 pounds. That dog. That
Yeah,
lining.
you can Google the breed. It's a Fila Mastiff. It actually comes
mastiff?
from Australia. A Mastiff, yes, but a
Right.
Fila Mastiff.
Spell that.
How do you spell that?
Filla space Mastiff.
What?
Filla space Mastiff. I think.
Yep, we got it. Oh my.
Got it.
Yeah, I think they're Googling it right now. So.
Those are the like slobber way too much. Like a bulldog and like
I love old dogs.
I like the puppies though. And then like
Oh wow, they love the puppies. All right,
The
so
puppies are cute.
what about music? In South Africa, is there? I mean, what kind of music is big? Do you guys like? I mean, do you like hip hop? Is it like dance, house music? Is it something more local? Like, what's the most popular type of music? Do you think?
Our pop music, well, the pop music we like is also American pop, so we steal that from you guys as well. Then we've got Kwaito, which is the Xhosa music, if I could say, more the black music. It's very it's got a lot of clicks in it. I don't know if you guys have heard anyone speak Xhosa before. I'll ask you. I'll say something. I'll say. How are you today? Oh, what's your name? Ngubani Ngamalako. So the music also has kind of that funny rhythm going. So that's quite so. Then house music is very popular for the younger ones today. Not young, from teens to 35 listens to house music and trance music. And then from older than that, everybody loves golden oldies. So if you're at a house barbecue, you would always hear a little bit of Tracy Chapman or Cat Stevens. We like playing golden oldies when we have house barbecues.
You're calling Tracy Chapman oldies?
Yes.
Wow. No
Oh,
comment.
Brandon.
All right.
Oh, Brandon.
Any other questions over in Mrs. Wilkins' class?
here.
Do you guys have school lunches?
Ooh, did you hear that?
Not perfectly. Come a little bit closer.
Do you have school lunches? Was that the question? Yeah. So
Yes.
she said, do you have school lunch? And what's your typical like type of food that you would have for school lunch?
We do not get lunch that's made for you. We've got a kind of like a small shop that you can buy food from. So you have an option to bring your own food to school, or you can buy food from the shop. We don't have a cafeteria where like you guys have, that you walk in and you take your plates and you get your food, unfortunately.
So it'd be more like a convenience store where you could buy like packaged
Yes.
sandwiches and things like that?
Yes. You can order yourself a ham and cheese sandwich or jello sandwich, or you can bring food to school if you prefer.
Okay. And so we have our young audience, which is asking some pretty grown-up questions. So Mitch's Church's classroom wants to know, what do you think of Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton? You can just
Well,
in general terms, I would say.
yes, in general terms, I don't know too much about your politics. The most I know is what I see on the Daily Show. And I wish you guys well with your next presidential candidate.
So it's for instance, is South Africans laughing at the U.S. right now, or is it?
No, I don't know. We can't laugh at you. Have you looked at our president?
All right.
He does ridiculous. So we can't laugh at America.
All right. So let's go. Looks like we got some more hands over in Mrs. Wilkins' class.
Who hasn't asked a question yet? Okay, Liz, you haven't asked one yet? You have. Faith, you haven't asked before.
It's not technically a question, but I just found out something about not exactly where you live, but South Africa.
Yes.
There's like these things called, I don't know how to pronounce it, but
Sugar Falls.
yeah, what he said.
Tugela Falls.
Tugela Falls. Tugela Falls.
Tugela Falls.
Can you explain what it says it is?
Tugela Falls.
Okay. Tugela Falls is a complex of seasonal waterfalls located in Drakensberg of World National Park in KwaZulu Natal.
KwaZulu Natal.
Yep.
KwaZulu Natal.
Is it waterfalls?
Yep.
Is it a waterfall?
Yeah.
Yeah. Republic of South Africa. It is generally accepted as the world's second tallest waterfall.
Is it Angel Falls?
No,
Or that's not. Is that South Africa?
Niagara.
No.
Victoria.
Victoria Falls.
Zambezi.
Oh, Tugela.
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 Yeah.
Tugela.
Tugela.
I think. Tugela, like Tug.
Yep. Yeah. Tugela.
Tugela.
Yeah.
Tugela, where Tugela vallen. Yes, okay, yeah. Waterfall, yes. I was like, Tugela. No, Tugela.
Okay.
Tugela.
Have you ever
Remember
been
the
there?
rule about the G. No, I haven't been there. I've been to the Victoria waterfalls though, which is also very big. I haven't been there.
All right. So I'm going to go ahead and end our recording. So hopefully if our classrooms that are currently with us don't go anywhere, maybe Michelle has a couple more minutes. She can ask a few more questions. But I do want to go ahead and end our show for our on-demand viewers watching in the future. So thanks for hanging out with us today, learning a little bit about South Africa and meeting Michelle. So you can find out all of our future guest speakers and virtual field trips at learnaroundtheworld.com. Until next time, I'm GOB. Keep exploring, guys.